Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. No, it's not. It's not high enough.
It's fine.
It's not.
That's fine. Two mics, one's the side.
Yeah, it's just not loud enough.
Okay.
Okay. Are we on?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for coming to the live stream of our Temple Bethel Friday evening Shabbat service. We are blowing the shofar before the start of every Shabbat evening service as we count the days in our preparatory month of Elul. And according to Rabbah, the Holy One said, on Rosh Hashanah, recite before me words of sovereignty, malchuyot, words of remembrance, zichronot, and mightiness, shofarot, sovereignty, so that you may acknowledge me as ruler over you. So as we prepare for our Rosh Hashanah, we come together to hear the voice of the shofar. And I'll sing the blessing for the blowing of the shofar now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmo kol shofar. All right. Please join us in our opening song, Ki Yeshmera Shabbat, which can be found in your Friday night Siddur, page 11. Ki Yeshmera Shabbat, El Yishmereni. Ki Yeshmera Shabbat, El Yishmereni. Oti leomead beino uveini. Oti leomead beino uveini. Ki Yeshmera Shabbat, El Yishmereni. Ki Yeshmera Shabbat, El Yishmereni. Michael and John, would you like to light our Shabbat candles? Page 2 and 3. I can trust you. I know you're good with matches. Amen. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvot May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, for all who are lonely for friendship. Page 6. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. L'chuna Ranana, page 12. L'chuna Ranana, l'chuna Ranana, l'chuna Ranana, l'Adonai. L'chuna Ranana, l'chuna Ranana, l'chuna Ranana, l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, Litzuri, Shenu Nekad Mafana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Litzuri, Shenu, Bizmirut Naria Lo. Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Lechune Ranena, Ladonai. 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 We continue with singing L'Chadodi on page 20 and 21. L'Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi, L'Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, Le'shemo tiferet be'litila. L'Chadodi, L'Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor habaracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof maaseh b'makshavat achila. L'Chadodi, L'Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise for the last verse, Boi v'Shalom. Boi v'Shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha uvetzolo, Toch emunei am Shabbat nekabela. Please be seated, and we will continue with Shalom Aleichem in a minute. Shalom Aleichem, which is on page 24. Please join me in singing. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Uni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Will you read them or read all of them after? We continue with Chatzi Kaddish, page 26. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'amad yivrach hirutei ve'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, bagala bagala uvizman kariv ve'immeru Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olam me'amaya yitbarach yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'Kudisha Laila min ko birchata ve'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'immeru. And we continue with Baruch Hu, our call to worship, page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokma poteach sh'arim, uvidvuna mishnei itim, u'makalif et hasmanim, u'misader et hakochavim b'mishvarotehem, barakia kirtsono. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai Ariv Aravim.
Yachar v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam, page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Alkein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratcha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Ve'avatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo We join together, Shema Yisrael, the watchword of our faith, page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. Page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kiroshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Amen. Read me Chamocha.
My evening exercise.
Yeah.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shore of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Michamocha, page 40. Michamocha bailim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, Dorat hilot osef ele, Dorat hilot osef ele, Bachutecha ra'u vanecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, Zeili, Zeili, anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'amar ki vada Adonai et Yaakov, ugealo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga Yisrael. Hashkivenu, page 42. Hashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu le'shalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu, shomreinu le'chaim. Hashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu le'shalom, ve'hamidenu And we rise and we continue with the tefillah, page 46. Adonai sefatai tiftach upi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chaste Avot, V'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal. Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Givurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman atah lahachayot ha'akol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh ha'akol. Atah kadosh u'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim bechol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh. We pray silently. rock and my redeemer, my rock and my redeemer, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. 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 We prepare for Seder Kriyat Torah, and I'm going to ask the Bear family if they will take the Torah from the ark, and we rise. Page 244. Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai, v'ein kema'asecha, malachutecha malachut kol amim, umemshaktecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch leolam ba'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarich et amo v'shalom. Adonai yivarich et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim heitiv avirtzoncha et Zion, tivni chomot Yerushalayim, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki v'cha levad batachnu, melech eram v'nisa, Adon olamim. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kdushato. Page 248. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadolul Adonai iti, uneromama Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai agedula ve'agevura ve'ativeret ve'hanetzach ve'hahod. Ki ko b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki ko b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai le'amlacha
upside down?
Yep. It's better if you turn it.
Yeah.
You don't have to read it upside down. Thank you. Thank you for the beautiful music, Rick. And thank you, John. Yes, you get to relax, as it were. And Nancy is going to continue for us in the book of Deuteronomy, Ki Tetzeh, and she's going to be reading from chapter 22, I believe, verses 1 through 6.
6 through 12.
6 through 12. 6 through 12. And for the honor of the Aliyah this evening, I call up Michael Bear. Ya'amod Michael Yonatan levarech et haTorah.
Yeah. Sorry, hang on. That Torah is a lot heavier than I remember. Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Ki yikarekan sipur lefanecha baderik b'kol eitz o al ha'aretz efrochim o beitzim v'ha'em roveset al ha'efrochim o al ha'beitzim lo tekach ha'em al ha'banim shalek tishlach et ha'em ve'et ha'banim tekach lach lema'an yitav lach v'ha'arakta yamim. Ki tifnei bait chadash v'asita ma'ake legagecha v'lo tasim damim b'veitecha ki yipol hanofel mimenu lo tizrak harmacha kilayim pen tikadash hamle'a hazera asher tizra v'ha'a Utvuat Hamkarim. Lo Takarosh Bashor Uvachamor Yakdav. Lo Tilvash Sha'at Nes Tzemer Uvishtim Yakdav. Gedilim Ta'aseh Lach Al Arba Kanfot Kasutcha Asher Tikaseh Ba. That's it.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
When you happen upon a bird's nest before you on the road, or whether in a tree or on the ground, with fledglings or eggs, and the mother sitting on the fledglings or the eggs, do not take the mother along with the young. You shall surely send the mother away, and you shall take the young for yourself, in order that you shall fare well and lengthen your days. When you build a new house, you shall make a parapet for your roof, so that you do not bring blood guilt upon your house if someone should fall from it. Do not sow two kinds of seed, lest the growth of the seeds which you plant and the produce of your vineyard becomes forbidden. Do not plow with an ox and a donkey together. Do not wear two kinds of mixed fibers, wool and linen together. You shall make tassels for yourself upon the four corners of your garment with which you cover yourself. That was part of my bat mitzvah portion, which I chose, as some of you know, I collect birds, and it had a bird in it, so that's why I chose it. And it also has that wonderful passage about the parapet for your roof, the first OSHA rule.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Nancy, for that beautiful reading. I guess I could have had you do your own Aliyah, but then you're doing a lot. We pause in front of our open Torah to offer prayers of healing. And you may share some names out loud if you wish to do so at this time.
March Ginsburg, and many people hurt in Afghanistan.
Dolores Rosa, Lauren Cohen, Maxine Robert, Sarah Seaman.
Sylvia Seedman, Stephanie Lathy, Olga Rumeva, David, Loretta Higgins. We join together in our prayer of healing, page 253. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And we rise as the Torah is lifted and put back into the ark on page 256. Ya'amar haba. It's high gilek tochtov, natati lachem, Torati al ta'azov. It's high be seated. Thank you, Jeff. In this week's Torah portion, Ki Tetzei, we hear 72 of the 613 commandments. We read of laws regarding the taking of captives, how to deal with a rebellious son, laws specific to the burying of the dead, whom you cannot marry, laws of divorce, and in addition to enumerating many laws, this portion also asks a multitude of questions. This portion asks us multiple times to remember both our slavery and the exodus from Egypt. When Moses shares the rules to not subvert the rights of the widow or the fatherless, he follows this commandment with a demand to recall the Israelite slavery experience. In our Women's Torah commentary, the Women's Torah commentary points out that Parsha Shoftim, the one we read the week before, concerns itself with laws of public officials, but most of the laws in Ki Tetzei focus on individuals. And these can be divided into subgroups, such as laws regarding family relations, neighbors, nature, and clothing, as well as laws on sexual misconduct, forbidden family relationships, marriage, and miscellaneous laws. Lastly, in Ki Tetzei, we find laws protecting the vulnerable and the charge to remember Amalek. The verses preferred by bar and bat mitzvah students, and evidently older bar and bat mitzvah students, are all in chapter 22, beginning with, "If you see your fellow Israelite ox or sheep gone astray, do not ignore it. You must take it back to your peer." Or some of my students will choose verse 4, "If you see your fellow Israelite's donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. You must raise it together." Or the verses that Nancy read, "If along the road you come upon a bird's nest with fledglings or eggs, and the mother sitting over the fledglings or on the eggs, do not take the mother together with her young. Let the mother fly away, and then take the young after." The Women's Torah commentary says this law deals with the humane treatment of a mother bird and her fledglings. Interpreters often compare it to the prohibition of cooking a kid in its mother's milk, as well as with the prohibition against slaughtering an animal and its mother on the same day. Maimonides has some remarks to say about these last two verses. He says it is prohibited to kill an animal and its young in such a manner that the young is slain in the sight of the mother. For the pain of the animals under such circumstances is very great. There is no difference in this case between the pain of man and the pain of other living beings, since love and tenderness of the mother for her young ones exists not only in man, but in most living beings. The same reason applies to the law that obligates us to let the mother fly away when we take the young. If the law provides that such grief not be caused to cattle or birds, how much more careful must we be not to cause grief to our fellow man? And Maimonides' concerns with animal sufferings also is reflected in his legal code. If one encounters two animals, one crouching under its burden and the other unburdened because the owner needs someone to help him load, he is obligated first to unload the burdened animal because of the commandment to prevent suffering to animals. The Talmud assumes that animals suffer more than human beings from hunger, presumably because an unfed animal has no idea if it will ever be fed. Thus, a person is prohibited to eat until he first feeds his animals from the Babylonian Talmud, initiated at a time when many Jews were farmers, and this law is still in force. A Jew is expected to feed his pets before he or she sits down to breakfast. Elsewhere, The Talmud rules that a man is forbidden to acquire a domestic animal or bird unless he has sufficient means to provide it with suitable food. Because animals, particularly smaller, non-aggressive ones, often depend on human beings, how a person treats them becomes an important touchstone in assessing his or her goodness. So as we prepare to stand again before Avinu Malkeinu, our God, our Father, in the days of awe ahead, let our acts of goodness this past year be inscribed and sealed in the book of life for a good new year. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm getting so much exercise tonight, I can get up late tomorrow and take a shorter walk. I have a bit of humor, which is very special, because it's also very true. And I heard this, and if you watch the same TV show as I did, you've heard it. It was on America's Got Talent, where there was a comedian who has multiple sclerosis. And it was very visible, his physical demeanor, that he had a problem compared to our way of thinking, I guess. Anyway, this is what he said. The disabled are the largest minority group in this country, and you can join them at any time. And I thought that was, it was funny in a way, but it was very profound. You could be one of them any time. And so this kind of fits in with our Torah portion tonight, to being kind to others, whatever, who have problems, the donkey or the ox that fell. So it's related. The name of the comedian is Josh Blue, and I hopefully we'll hear more of him. He really was funny. He had me laughing all the time. So, we have busy week next weekend. We have Friday night, of course, and then Saturday is Shlikot. Please remember that it's at 7:30, but however, maybe we shouldn't tell everybody that, because then they'll be on time. So you are getting used to 7. So Shlichot, getting ready for the holidays. And on the following evening, on Sunday, is Rosh Chodesh group meeting, our first one here, at 7 o'clock. That one's at 7. And it will be led by Mira from Carmel, and the Rebbetzin Bini, I think I got her name today, Holzberg, from Chabad. So that could be interesting. That is, of course, a women's group. Rosh Chodesh is a women's holiday. I think that's pretty much covers it. I can't think of anything else. Oh, there's always Torah study. We never skip Torah study except something else at the same time. So.
Susie's working on the directory.
Okay, working on the directory, trying to get it ready for the holidays, which is just only 2 weeks away. Just a little over 2 weeks. So if you haven't got all your information in, or if you have an ad, please do that. And those of us who are supposed to write columns had better get busy. So Susie's working hard because she's got to catch up from her vacation, plus get the Chronicle for us by the 1st, and do the directory. So any help you can give her by doing your part would be helpful. I'm also supplying her with an Oneg list, and I don't remember who's on in September, But if you are, you'll be getting a postcard as well. It'll be in the Chronicle. Guess that's it. So we need a couple of thank yous. Of course, thank you for those who participated, and especially thank you to Rick. I have to look at it. Iramatagi.
That's it.
I have to sound it out every time, but one of these days I'm going to get it. So it was really nice to have you, Rick. The piano playing is beautiful. And the oneg tonight was supplied by Julie Edgecombe and Bob and Leslie Castlevan again. They wanted to do it together, so they said they'd do two in a row. So we have, I think the little baggies or something over there. I haven't checked them out yet. So thank you, and everybody have a good week.
Thank you. We rise as the ark is opened on page 282 for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, v'teit gdula yotzeh b'reshit, sh'asanu k'vayei haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, sh'lo som chalkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu k'chohamana. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר בחייך אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהי אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past: Morty S. Rose, Sarah Yanes, Stan Siegel, Angelo Maymar, Lee Meyerfeld, Ellen Johansson, Irving Levine. And we gather those names into our own hearts with our own beloved ones that we are remembering. Ann Bruner. And we join together, Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. And if you wish to, you may rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'almad yivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam l'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemed kudesha b'richu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Please be seated, and we turn to page 70 for our closing song, Essa Enai. I lift my eyes to the hills from whence cometh my help. Page 70, Essa Enai. Essa Enai el Hearim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Essa Enai el Hearim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri Me'im Adonai, Ose Shamayim va'aretz. Ezri Me'im Adonai, Ose Shamayim va'aretz. Essa Enai el Hearim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Essa Enai el Hearim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Shabbat Shalom.